The icon of an era, a staple of gaming, and a paramount asset to every game you play. Hi. Six Snipes here with the finale of Season 2 of Gun Guide. This series has come a long way and I'm just shy of 500 subs, which to me is both incredible and a little scary. I'm not planning on slowing down the content anytime soon though, and I just hope that this has been as much of a ride for you guys that it has been for me. Rounding off the 10th episode of the series with a bang, today we have a gun, or rather a series of them, which are definitive to both Sandstorm and the shooter scene as a whole. I'm Six Snipes. Today we are talking about the MP5, and you're all watching Gun Guide. The German H&K MP5 or machine pistol series was developed in part for the building demand of a firearm to combat the newly evolved generation of war in the 1960s Europe, that of terrorism. Police units needed something without the staggering penetration of rifle rounds for minimum collateral damage, but a fire rate and capacity capable of keeping up with the newly developing generation of assault rifles since the end of World War II. Enter this. It is known and renowned for precision shooting, high fire rate, and the better part of 70 years of action on the battlefield in movies and TV, and of course in video games. This brings us to the very accurate insurgency models. There's 3. Now at this point you might say, no, there's 2, but given the fact that equipping the suppressor to the security model converts it to the MP5 SD with integral suppressor, technically speaking it makes a hidden gun in the game. And conveniently enough, they're all identical, more or less.
You're weak. I'm you.
Insurgent MP5A2 has the same stats to the MP5A5 minus 1 feature, the 3-round bursts, which no one uses, not even me before this video anyways. The SD variant has identical stats plus a suppressor as well, so the performance isn't exactly different, just quieter. That being said, you can definitely see why I wouldn't bother making a different video for each. I mean, even the two M16s are slightly apart in performance. So, fielding the different ones all together, I can say this. The Insurgent one is less useful, but only slightly. The 3-round burst being absent isn't a problem at all. In fact, it might even be better to have to hit the button less to cycle between semi and auto. But that paired with the suppressor addition being way longer makes it just slightly less good for close quarters with the addition. Being able to turn the A5 into the SD with just a suppressor has a cool factor combined with a practical application, and in my eyes that's more or less the end of the argument. Whichever gun you take though, they're all excellent and you're not losing out on much either way. The real-life gun operates off of a closed bolt system, uncommon and expensive for SMGs and bolstering a high accurate first shot basis. More or less, the bolt doesn't have to slam forward as it fires off the first one, so the bullet goes extra straight. This is very well translated in the game, small burst recoil is minimal and precision is outstanding. You'll find yourself making every shot an M4 could, and despite repeatedly getting maps like Tell, because some people vote random, I had no issues sending rounds as far as the eye could see. This really takes me back to my days of Rainbow Six Siege. You thought your days of getting spawn peeked by Doc with the MP5 ACOG was over, but not when I'm in the lobby. The fire rate and low recoil are also incredible features. The RPM extends past most guns and is capable of outshooting things like AKs at close to medium encounters easily. Recoil grips are unnecessary but still gratifying just because of how much of a laser it becomes with that addition. The gun's cheap too, and while that helps it support heavy accessorization, you really can get away with running a bare bones model with no attachments easily. The only drawback there is the cool but frankly awful iron sights. This is easily the first time I've had instances where the chunky frame of a reticle has actually gotten me killed, and I didn't even see this guy until it was too late. The extended mag is nice too. It may cost more than average, however it doesn't only add an underwhelming 5 rounds, so if you've got the credits and can spare the weight, then don't be afraid to run it. It'll save your life every once in a while. Bruh. I think the most vital point to cover here is that the 9mm caliber is often cited as intrinsically inferior. With only passable penetration, velocity on the lower side, and so bad against armor, it's one of the only things that gets hard countered by a light plate carrier on an individual shot basis. Many say it's not worth it. But this whole series I haven't been looking at damage charts and spreadsheets to tell you what's good, I just used the thing, and believe me, having used this a lot, I can say it doesn't matter. There were 0 instances where the time to kill was what got me killed, rather than rustiness and good old-fashioned potato aim were entirely to blame. Nobody was safe at any range or behind any surface I could find because the caliber just works, especially because of how fast this gun pumps them out. A bullet hose, clear and clean cut. Reload and handling are great given the small size and weight of it overall, topping off an already formidable set of attributes. In fact, just about the only major con I could think of would be the sad absence of any DLC skins to make this look just that much cleaner, though I'm sure we'll get those eventually. Overall, I love this little platform, and despite all the flack they catch, I see players using them all the time, and I can't blame it either. The gun is good. Most creature weapons sort of taper off at a distance and are ill-advised on larger, more open maps, especially when you venture towards the cheaper side, but this platform is just fine anywhere I took it. Pure, simple fun, and ingenious design paired together to create, in my opinion, one of the best guns in the game. No skill curve, no nuance, a straight shooter and a clutch pick for all. That more or less wraps up my thoughts on the MP5 and Season 2 of Gun Guide as well. By now, I'd expect to have some roadmap or plan as to what I'll do for the next 5 years. 5 years? What the The next 5 videos. I meant the next 5 videos. My point is that I'm not entirely dead set on what my next series will focus on, though it's a safe bet I'll be taking a look at some classics. You'll get the first next week and ultimately an announcement about all of that. Between now and then, you can expect 1 or 2 videos or guides, as it were, taking a look at some things that aren't necessarily guns. Stay tuned. Until then, it's been very fun making these, and I can't wait to do more. If you've made it this far through the video, thank you. And stay tuned for the next installation of Gun Guide. I'm 6Snipes, and I'll see you out there in Sandstorm.